Hey YouTube, I just wanted to let you know that the following video you are about to watch is actually a part of the Creatrix live series happening over on Instagram. We started this 5-week-long live series in celebration of the next cohort of my signature group coaching program known as Embodied Creatrix. This program is 12 weeks long. It is for women visionaries who are ready to live a soul-aligned life that turns them on so that they can make the impact they know they're here to create. So it starts with getting clear on our values and vision, doing the mindset work to own our desires, doing the mindset work to show up for our dreams, right? We do all of this through, again, deep mindset, pleasure, clarity, strategy, and execution. So this is deep work that happens over a 3-month-long period in community, in a container with other driven, visionary women. And so in celebration of this next iteration of my program starting August 30th, I wanted to give people sort of a sneak peek of the kind of work that we do in the full program, give everyone a feel for the kind of content that we unpack therein. And so that's why we're doing this 5-week-long live series. So we're dropping juicy, delicious, actionable content. So whether you're interested in the full program or not, you will get served. You will find tools and information to support you in owning your desires and showing up for your dreams and executing on your vision. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities for winning Creatrix related prizes and giveaways. So if you want to participate live, I highly recommend you come find us on Instagram. All the relevant links to learn about the program, to find me on Instagram and participate live is down below, and I can't wait to see you there. Hello, beautiful people. Crack my back real quick. Ooh, yeah. Oh, okay. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Creatrix live series. Today, we are going to be talking about the hidden gift of consistent strategy and process. So this is really very much a continuation of the conversation we had on Tuesday, which was ditch the hustle, focus on this instead. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched that, we're ditching the hustle for consistency and process, for baby steps, consistency, and process. And I went over what hustle energy means to me and what that looks like. I got a little weird and started drawing. Hold on, I'm trying to grab my drawings from the other day. Yeah, I did some little diagrams to demonstrate what hustle was. And so we're gonna continue to talk about that today and talk about the benefits of baby steps, consistency, and falling in love with process when it comes to creating a life we love, creating personal change, personal transformation, building new habits, new modes of being in the world, and how it is we operate, relate, respond, engage our own energy and situations and circumstances and other people, right? So when it comes to creating a life you love and actualizing your soul vision, right, moving the needle on your dreams, you're going to want to stick around and hear about this, hear about these hidden gifts, okay? Because we're gonna talk about it. But real quickly, I just want to remind you guys, because this Creatrix live series is celebrating the launch of my signature 12-week group coaching program, Embodied Creatrix, where we do all of the stuff in a 12-week group community container that we've been talking about throughout this series. That starts on Monday, the 30th, on Monday. It's literally right around the corner. And so the cart officially closes tomorrow. So if you've been on the fence, if you've been thinking about it, now's your chance to take the plunge, to dive in, to go for it, to take that leap of faith, to decide that you get to be supported while you move the needle on your dreams. To decide, like I invite you to decide right now that you get to be held, that you get to have support, that you get to have community, that you get to have coaching, that you get to have a container that helps hold you accountable to your big dreams and your big vision so that you can move the needle on them and create the change you know you're here for, right? So again, we start on Monday, the cart closes tomorrow, and Yeah, I'm super excited for this round, for this cohort of people. It's going to be intimate and delicious, and I can't wait to spend the next 12 weeks with those of you who are already in the container. And if you aren't in it yet, you should. Come join us. Okay, so again, today, the hidden gift of consistent strategy and process. And this is very much a continuation of what we discussed on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I was talking about ditch the hustle and focus on baby steps, consistency, and process instead. And so we broke down what hustle was, and I got a little weird and made some drawings. But for me, hustle energy manifests in two ways. It's one of the ways is we're trying to do all the things at once, right? And so we're spreading ourselves really thin, and we have like a million different focal points. And so even if we are making progress on moving the needle on our dreams, we're only doing it 1 degree in every direction, and so it's hard for us to really feel it and sense it and see it because we're looking all over the place, right? Because our energy spread so thin. So that's kind of what spreading ourselves thin is, right? There's all these different areas that we could focus on where we feel like when it comes to pursuing our dreams, like, and following those steps, to get to where it is we want, but we try to do all of them at once, and it's too much to manage, right? The other way that this pans out is we're trying to do all the things still, but we're not necessarily doing them all at one time. This is like switching. We'll start with one thing and we'll give it a go for a little bit, and then if it doesn't produce the results or the outcome we want within a specific time period, we go, oh, this path doesn't work, or like this avenue isn't the right one for me. Now I'm gonna try this one. And so we go here, spend a little time here. Oh, this isn't really giving me the results I want either, so now I'm gonna try this thing. So we're still doing all the things, we're just doing it in a sort of switching mode kind of thing. And so we're not really actually moving the needle at all in that scenario, right? Because we keep switching our strategy or switching our method or switching our area of focus. We're actually just spinning in a circle of stuckness and stagnancy, right? So, and again, with the spreading ourselves thin one, when we're trying to manage all of this at once, spreading ourselves thin, trying to do all of the stuff at once, what tends to happen is we burn out, right? And then we have to rest, and we have to start from scratch or start all over again once we recover and find the motivation to get moving again, right? So in scenario 1, where we're spreading ourselves thin, burnout is the typical issue. And in scenario 2, where we're trying all the things in a switching style, just moving from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next without ever making progress, we end up spinning out in that stagnancy, right? So we switch, or so we want to trade our hustle energy for baby steps, consistency, and falling in love with process. And again, we talked all about this on Tuesday. Excuse me. But the idea there is that starting small, getting really good at one thing, one area, one new habit, one new mode of operation, one new mindset reframe, one new emotional alchemy tech, like one new thing at a time, getting so good at it that it becomes ingrained within us, like brushing our teeth. It's a fully formed habit. Then we move on to the next. We don't even move, we stack on top of it, right? That's how we create sustainable growth with a solid foundation, right? We don't, once we get really good at the one thing, then we layer something else on top of it. And then once we get really good at that, we layer something else on top of it until we have, this is true expansion, right? Everything leads to the next, and there's all of these layers of foundational transformation behind us that we can fall back into, right? Does that make sense? Watch Tuesday if you need more clarification there. Okay, so the obvious gift of this, of baby steps, consistency, and process is that we're actually moving the needle on our dreams, right? Because we're getting really good at one thing, and we're solidifying that new habit, we're solidifying that new mindset, we're solidifying that new mode of beingness, we're solidifying that new feeling state, whatever it is, right? And then we layer on top of it. And that next thing doesn't seem so hard because the first thing is so foundationally ingrained in us that it's just easy. Again, like the brushing our teeth. You don't even think about brushing your teeth. It is just such a habit now And it's not hard. It's not hard to do. But we all know, if you've, ever consciously created new habits before, you know how sticky it is in the beginning and how there's a lot of resistance and you have to like talk yourself into doing it. But then once it's there, it's just lifestyle. It's just who you are, right? It's just inherent to you at that point. And so when we do it that way, and that layering through baby steps, moving one baby step at a time, really mastering that baby step through consistently showing up for it, right? Falling in love with the process of grounding it into our system, integrating it into our system, then we get a layer on top of it. And it's just all about repeatability. We're just, we create a process for ingraining a new habit or integrating a new habit, and then we just repeat that over and over and over again with each new baby step layering on top of that solid foundation, right? So the obvious, the obvious gift here is that we're actually moving the needle on our dreams, that we're actually creating sustainable change, change that isn't going to like burn us out because we're trying to master all of it at once. Change that isn't going to topple over because, we keep switching. So we get a little bit good at this one thing and a little bit good at this one thing and a little bit good at this one thing, but none of it's actually integrated, right? So we're actually expanding and there's momentum behind us. That was this diagram. So we start with one focus area, we get really good and solid at it, then we layer on the next, and then we layer on the next, and we layer. And before you know it, this is real expansion. We think this looks like expansion, but it's disconnected, it's disjointed. So we're actually creating expansion, we're creating layers of foundational structure underneath, and there's momentum here, right? And we keep layering it on and layering it on and layering it on. So we're actually moving the needle on our dreams, and that way we're making consistent progress. We're seeing consistent change, and obviously we know that with the personal internal change and transformation, that is reflected in the way it is we show up in the world and the way we respond, relate to, and engage our own energy and the world around us. And that is what creates the outer results, right? And so results and outcome, desired outcome, are the obvious gift of this, baby steps, consistency, process, method, if you will, right? But let's talk about the hidden gifts, because that's what today's all about. So with an action plan, right? Baby steps, moving 1 degree at a time if necessary, or several degrees at a time, whatever we can handle or manage. It's different for everyone, and everyone's vision is different, and everyone has a different path to get to where it is they want to go, right? So moving in baby steps with, a consistent strategy, right? We're creating that repeatability. I'm going to show up for this thing over and over and over again, right? Allowing that to be a process that we get used to. We fall in love with the process of creating that new habit or creating that solid foundation. And then forming that new habit or that new mode of being or that new mindset or that, new whatever, right? Not only are we going to see the outward results or the desired results we want, whatever that is for you. What happens with that baby steps, consistency, and process is because we are in that repeatability and that layering and that focus without the switching going on. What happens is we get to peel, like as we build layers to our personhood, we're actually at the same time simultaneously peeling back layers to uncover like our specific mindset, blocks, or our specific narratives and stories that are running in the subconscious in the background, right? When we are spreading ourselves thin and then burning out, there's just not enough capacity or energy to like really do the deep dive into those narratives and stories and mindset things that are really holding us back, right? Because we're strung out, we're spread thin. And then when we're doing that switching thing, I'm going to try this for a little bit, kind of get good at it, but decide that it's not working good enough. So I'm going to move on to the next thing, do a little here. It's not working enough. So I'm going to move to the next thing. We're never like in this way because we're switching. We're never getting deep enough into one area of focus where we can actually start to peel back the layers of what's going on internally, right? Because it's like as soon as it gets uncomfortable, as soon as we decide, oh, this isn't working the way I want it to, or it's not working fast enough, or I'm not seeing the results in the way I thought I would see them, so it's uncomfortable, I'm going to get out of here, I'm going to switch to the next thing. The next thing must be the thing that's it for me. And then we do that, and then like, oh, this isn't working either. It's uncomfortable. It must be the next thing. Because we're not allowing ourselves to sit in the discomfort of the liminal space of process, right? We're never actually going deep enough to peel back the layers of what those mindset blocks and narratives are underneath the surface. So when we are committed to consistency, to a strategy, to a plan of action, even, baby steps status, right? Falling in love with the process of creating that new habit or mode of operation, sticking with it consistently, even when it's uncomfortable, right? Creating that sort of resilience in our personhood that says, okay, like, yeah, this kind of fucking sucks right now, but I can do this, right? I'm going to show up for this because I'm going to show up for my vision until it happens. I'm going to work the process until it works, right? Versus this is uncomfortable, I'm going to try a new avenue, right? When we're focused in that way, when we're committed to going deep in that way, we create the capacity and the space to peel back those deep layers and really do some really deep inner, like, you could call it inner child healing or shadow work, right? But that really deep mindset stuff that is tethered to the surface things we know about or that we're maybe conscious of, right? But when we're committed to going deep and showing up consistently, right? When we have the strategy or the plan or the baby steps and we're creating that repeatability and that repeatability and that repeatability, right? And once we've done that a few times and we are comfortable to a degree with that process, every time we're layering on and we feel the resistance, we know, oh, this is like a mindset thing. This is an internal thing because I know now, because I've been layering and creating that solid foundation, and I know what it feels like to create a new habit. If I'm feeling resistance now, I know that it's like an internal block. It's an internal thing, right? And so now I can dig deeper into that and do some healing around there, do some reframing around that, like see some new layer of myself that I didn't know it existed that might be holding me back in ways I didn't even know of before, right? You see what I'm saying? Because if we're always switching when it's uncomfortable and we're never sitting in the discomfort, then we're never actually peeling back the layers of why that's uncomfortable, what narratives are playing out in that background, what subconscious fears are involved in that uncomfortability, you know what I mean? And so I'm a professional like switcher. That's my mode of operation, or has been for quite some time. And it's just amazing when you show up consistently and decide that you're going to move through the discomfort anyway, what you reveal and what you get to see about yourself. And then work through that, and then, work on healing that, work on reframing that, work on creating new beliefs and choices around how you're going to respond, relate, and engage that, right? Honor that part of yourself and decide to show up for your dreams and desires as well, right? The both and. So that is the hidden gift, if you will, of baby steps, consistency, and falling in love with process, is when we actually take the time to create a process that is repeatable. Something that we can just do over and over and over again and layer and layer and layer on top of, then we have created the space and the capacity to do some of that deeper inner work. But again, if we're spreading ourselves thin, or if we're constantly switching our strategy or our plan of action and then abandoning it because it's uncomfortable, part of that is that inner child or that inner narrative that's like, oh God, you're getting close to touching my vulnerable parts. We got to get out of here. Switch, right? And so then when you get to get really good at recognizing that, you get so much, you move the needle so much more because you start to learn how to discern your own ways of abandonment and self-sabotage, you know what I mean? Your own vulnerable points, and then you get to work on cultivating, again, that personhood resilience where you can sit through that and peel back the layers in safety and, you know, move through it in whatever way is necessary for you, right? So that you can continue to show up for your vision and move the needle on your dreams and actualize your desires and create the life you want and be the person you want to be, right? So that's the personal transformation hidden gift that comes through baby steps, consistency, and process. And I think for a lot of us, you know, the idea of baby steps and consistency and process, it sounds really like, I don't know, like boring or like really 3D, right? Like the real hardcore, I don't know, like reality stuff of buckling down and making new habits and, you know, the chop wood, carry water, like boring, mundane part of personal transformation. But it's all connected and it's all related. That's what I believe, as you know, that we are soul embodied beings, and so we are self and we are soul, and we're here to learn how to operate and manage and navigate our energy and our soul vision and our urges and our desires in this embodied state. And so we have to be, you know, creating space to do the mundane shit, right? No one wants to go through the resistance and the, you know, I don't know, mental overwhelm of like forming new habits. But if we really want to see the change or be the change that we want to be, or see the change that we so deeply crave from that internal place, there has to be a physical 3D outward counterpart, right? And I think we get trapped in this linear thinking that like, oh, I have to change me internally first, and then it will be reflected in my outer experience. And it's like, it kind of all happens at once, right? And so if you're engaging the inner, you're going to be engaging the outer. And if you're going to be engaging the outer, you're also engaging, like it isn't so linear. It's all happening synergistically as a system. And so we have to learn how to, I think for a lot of us, like this was something for me, especially coming from spiritual spaces. I think I was spending a lot of time on trying to get that internal personal transformation stuff, trying to fix my narratives, right? Trying to, you know, work on mindset and those kinds of things and my energetics. But it was when I started to create space for that to actually happen simultaneously in the real world, like through my actual habits and choices and actions and words and things, that it really started to click. And this is what I mean by system of consciousness or synergistic like change. It's all happening at once. And so if we're only looking at the internal but not actually applying that to our external, right? Then you know, it's gonna fall short. So how can we incorporate the real life like mundane 3D stuff of forming new habits and changing the way we relate, engage, and operate and show up with our energy in the world around us, situations and circumstances, right? So that is also facilitating personal internal change, right? This is how we do that. Again, so this is how the sort of 3D mundane stuff of change, personal like change, relates to inner transformation. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. I don't know what else to say about that. Again, it's all connected, and you know, if you're really looking for that personhood kind of transformation, I guarantee that working on how it is you show up and embody yourself and, you know, change or like create change in your habits and your actions and your words and your deeds and how it is you show up, that is going to facilitate the inner change you're looking for. You might be one of those people that's thinking, oh, I have to fix the inside first. And I don't believe that's the case. Like if you can create space for you to be a whole being, a whole soul embodied being that is both self and soul, that is spirit and matter, that is spirit and human, then you'll be able to do it all at once, and it's all connected. So it's all going to feed back. It's all going to work together, and that's kind of the harmony and the balance that I was always craving that I feel now. And so that's the approach we take in the Embodied Creatrix program, right? There's so much internal transformation that happens, but we sort of approach it through our humanity, through our human agency as change makers, right? And so we allow the real human experience to be the catalyst to the internal transformation, and then it all sticks together. It all, again, it becomes harmonious, it becomes balanced. You feel like a whole person, not like you're trying to fix this side of yourself so that this side works out the way you want. It's like all one beautiful growth, expansion, integrative like process, if that makes sense. So that's what we're doing in Embodied Creatrix. That's what I have to share with you guys today. Again, remember, this 12-week program will not be offered until 2022. So this is your last chance to hop on board if you want to join us for this 12-week group transformation container, where we are going to be moving the needle on our goals through, baby steps, consistency, process. We're going to be changing the way it is we relate to, respond to, engage our energy and the world around us, so that we can show up the way we want to and become the people we know we're meant to be, the versions of ourselves. It's really about stepping into that next version of yourself. Sometimes we call this like the higher self, right? It's about stepping into that next expansive version of you, the version of you that you want to be, right? While you're pursuing your desires and dreams in the way you want to experience them, practicing what your version of success, happiness, joy, feels like, versus learning about it. We're doing it in real time through that human agency piece, right? Through that embodied piece. So tomorrow the cart closes officially, so now's your last chance to kind of slide in last minute and join us. And that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you, I think I'm going to be continuing to do these lives every Tuesday here on Instagram, so I should see you next Tuesday. And see you out on the internet streets. Mwah.